Top 10 Facts about the Golden Gate Bridge. In 1937, the public was allowed to begin crossing the Golden Gate Bridge, and it didn't take long for it to become one of the most famous bridges in the entire world. We have a healthy affection for San Francisco, and it gives us great joy to show off our hometown to people from all over the world. As a result, we decided to prepare a list of 12 of the most interesting facts that we could find regarding the Golden Gate Bridge. This amazing trip back in time is an important viewing before you see it for yourself, so make sure you watch this movie first. From its name to its dangerous history, its color to the records it broke, and everything in between, this fascinating step back in time is covered in this video. Number 10. Before the construction of the bridge, travelers had to take a ferry. Before the construction of this magnificent bridge, the only practicable way to connect San Francisco and Marin County was to cross a part of San Francisco Bay in a boat or on a ferry. This was before the bridge was built. At the beginning of the 1820s, the ferry service was established. In the 1840s, it provided regularly scheduled services specifically to transport water to San Francisco. The Sausalito Land and Ferry Company, which began operations in 1867, was the provider of this service when it first became available. The ferry ride lasted around 20 minutes, and it cost $1 for each vehicle to take it. Number 9. The bridge is suspended in the air. Engineer Strauss was the one responsible for the overall design and construction of this bridge. He was the one who constructed this bridge. Because of his lack of experience with cable, suspension bridges, he delegated the job of designing them to more experienced architects. It was the labor of Leon Moussaieff, an engineer who was responsible for designing the Manhattan Bridge in New York, that ultimately resulted in the product that we see today. Irvin Morrow was responsible for the design of the Art Deco furnishings, lighting plan, and shape of the bridge towers. He was also the one who decided to paint the iconic orange color on the bridge. Number 8. A proposition to build the bridge was made for the first time in the year 1872. In only 3 years following the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, Charles Crocker submitted a bid for the construction of a bridge. He developed the blueprints for a bridge that would cross the Golden Gate Strait near the mouth of San Francisco Bay. His concept was initially met with skepticism, and it was not until 1919 that more people began to take his concept seriously. The Board of Supervisors of San Francisco carried out an analysis of the bridge's practicability. The cost of the bridge was once expected to be $100 million. Number 7. The building was shown to the general public in 1937. On May 27, 1937, the bridge was initially opened to the general public and vehicular traffic for the first time. This suspension bridge held the record for both the greatest span and the highest height when it was built. The length of the Golden Gate Bridge's main span is 200 feet. And it is 746 feet tall overall. The construction of the bridge required a little more than 3 years' worth of time. At least 200,000 people crossed the bridge on the first day it was accessible to the public. They raced to be the first to cross the Golden Gate Bridge in a variety of ways, including on foot, while pushing baby strollers, and even while roller skating. On that particular day, several firsts were documented, such as the first person to cross the bridge while walking on stilts. Joseph Strauss, the main engineer of the bridge, wrote a poem about the bridge and titled it "The Tremendous Task is Done" in honor of the day when the bridge was opened to the public. Number 6. The initial concept for the bridge looked very different. O'Shaughnessy reached out to several highly qualified engineers to discuss his concept for a bridge. He proposed in writing to them that a bridge is constructed across the Golden Gate Strait. Joseph B. Strauss, Francis C. McMath, and Gustav Lindenthal were the engineers who responded to the need for help. Strauss provided blueprints for a hybrid cantilever suspension span that was symmetrical. Between $17 to $27 million was what he believed the bridge would cost in terms of its budget. However, the blueprint was kept under wraps from the general public for more than a year. In the meantime, Strauss was utilizing his initial concept that was granted a patent to solicit support from residents of California. The public's reaction was negative when the commission in charge of the bridge project finally unveiled the design. The layout was criticized as being unsightly by the regional newspapers. This caused a change in the plans, and Strauss ultimately decided to discard his design in favor of a bridge that was more traditional. Number 5. Orange was not the color that was planned for it to be. The United States Navy requested that the bridge be painted with yellow and black stripes so that it would be more visible to ships in the area. After some time had passed, however, the bridge was painted the international orange color that we see today. The color of the paint works well with the landscape that surrounds the bridge. In addition to that, it enhances the visibility of the bridge when there is fog. When the steel was ultimately delivered to San Francisco, it was given a priming coat of a color that looked burnt red. One more reason that contributed to Strauss' decision to go with the worldwide orange color was that it gives the impression that the bridge is quite substantial. Number 4. The building of it was met with opposition from many people. People didn't like the engineer Joseph Strauss's initial concept for the Golden Gate Bridge, so he had to make some changes. This was because the design of the cantilever bridge he came up with was regarded to be unsightly. Strauss's enthusiasm was not dampened in the least by this setback. Instead, he recruited other engineers to work on the project, and together they developed the bridge's final and most exquisite form. Additionally, there was a lawsuit filed against the bridge, and this one was brought forward by the ferry company that served as a connection between San Francisco and Marin County for both people and automobiles. Others who were against the building of the bridge voiced their concern that it would likely detract from the natural attractiveness of the strait. Number 3. The building of the bridge was a very hazardous undertaking. The construction of the bridge was a challenging project for both the engineers and the other individuals on the construction crew. The health and safety of everyone who worked on the bridge were consequently of the utmost importance. A safety net was hung from the underside of the bridge as a precautionary measure to catch any construction workers who could fall while they were on the job. 19 employees have rescued thanks to the existence of a safety net, and later on, they went on to create an exclusive club known as the Halfway to Hell Club. During the building of the Golden Gate Bridge, 11 construction workers tragically lost their life. Number 2. The bridge has been shut down on 3 separate occasions. Since it first opened to traffic in 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge has been closed on 3 separate occasions. The inclement weather is one of the primary reasons for the closure. The other 2 primary reasons are ongoing construction and anniversaries. 1983 marked the year of its longest stoppage. It was a windy day, and the wind was blowing across the bridge at a speed of 75 miles per hour. The closure of the bridge lasted for a total of 3 hours and 27 minutes. There have also been famous people involved in the incident, which led to the bridge being closed. The first was for President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and the second was for Charles de Gaulle, who was president of France at the time. Number 1. The bridge's 50th anniversary celebration was a complete and utter failure. The organizers who were planning the celebration for the Golden Gate Strait's 50th anniversary anticipated that there would be 50,000 people in attendance. They were taken aback when this did not turn out to be the case and 800,000 people showed up at the bridge. The arch of the bridge collapsed as a result of the enormous amount of weight that was being supported by the crowd. The suspension wires that ran through the middle of the bridge were pulled up to such a tautness that they resembled harp strings. To our good fortune, the bridge could shift vertically by 15 feet and wobble laterally by 27 feet thanks to the way it was constructed. How was the video? Did you enjoy it? Post your feedback in our comment section below and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates.